Trade between India and US is estimated to have jumped substantially from USD 118 billion in 2016 to USD 140 billion in 2017, according to an advocacy group that aims to promote bilateral trade. In 2016, India was the ninth largest trading partner of US, one of the major countries with which America had trade deficit of more than $30 billion. This is expected to continue in 2017 as well as of 2018, an issue which was repeatedly being raised by President Donald Trump of US and his top officials in their interaction with their Indian counterpart. We estimate that in 2017, India's trade with US has gone up to $118 billion to USD $140 billion, said Mukesh Aghi, the president of US-India Strategic and Partnership Forum, in a news interview. The official figures of annual bilateral trade are yet to come, but the USISPF estimates are based on its own research and surveys. Aghi said India has proactively started working on addressing the issues of trade deficit with India. India roughly has ordered more than 1,000 planes with US companies that will start bringing trade imbalance in the right direction. India last year brought $2 billion worth of energy from US. India spends roughly $80 billion acquiring energy, and I think a lot of that will start moving to US, he said. And also he said, I think the next year you will see a little more balance in the trade between US and India. India and the US have set a goal of increasing the bilateral trade to $500 billion a year. I think it will be moving forward. Overall, the relation between India and the US is moving in the right direction. As of China, the cabinet approves protocol amending double taxation avoidance agreement with China. The Union Cabinet has approved signing and ratification of protocol amending the double taxation avoidance agreement with China, an official statement said on Wednesday. The cabinet, which met under the chairmanship of Prime Minister Narendra Modi of India, gave its nod to change, including updating the existing provisions for exchange of information to the latest international standards. Further, the protocol will incorporate changes required to implement treaty-related minimum standards under the Action Report of Base Erosion and Profit Shifting, or the BEPS project, in which India has participated on an equal footing. Besides the minimum standards, the protocol will also be bringing in changes as per BEPS action reports as agreed upon the two sides, it said. India's competitiveness in labor-intensive export sectors has been on a declining path in the last decade and needs significant structural reforms that need to be addressed, rating agency CRISIL said in a new report. The CRISIL analyzed the competitiveness of the labor-intensive export sectors, namely gems and jewelers, leather and leather products, and ready-made garments, which showed that these becomes less competitive over the last decade. It is disquieting that India's export growth is decelerating at a rate at the time when the global environment is becoming more conducive for trade. The reason is not currency strength, but the weakening competitiveness. This needs to be reversed if India has to be sustainable, self-employment generating exports to the growth. India's exports have fallen despite a favorable global trade environment. The International Monetary Fund, or the IMF, expects growth to rise to 3.6% in 2017 from 3.2% in 2016. Global merchandise trade is expected to grow stronger at 4.2%, boosting the trade intensity of the growth for the first time in 6 years. Yet, India's exports have not been able to take as advantages of the stronger trade, unlike many of its ancient peers like Vietnam, South Korea and Indonesia. While India's growth export is 9.5% in this fiscal year so far, and for Vietnam, South Korea and Indonesia it is very much higher at 23.8%, 18.4% and 17.18% respectively. CRISIL's analysis revealed that the competitiveness of these labor-intensive sectors was already on declining since 2006. which was further impacted by the demonetization last November and the implementation of GST last year, which was brought up by the current Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who didn't even know what to do with India's economy, which was going really well. Between 2006 and 2016, the competitiveness of the gems and the jewelry sector has declined from 6.38 points to 3.96 points. Leather and leather products from 3.12 to 1.79 points, and ready-made garments from 2.4 to 2.22 points according to Chrysalis. The 2006 to 2016 decade saw RCA markedly diminish for three of these sectors, which demonetization and the GST impacting further. So while policy disruption have been the transitory, there are structural issues jogging India's export competitiveness, said Chrysalis. India's current account deficit climbed to a fourth-year high of $14.3 billion in the first quarter of this fiscal year, or 2.4% of the gross domestic product or the GDP, mainly because the trade deficits ballooned to four-year high of $41.7 billion compared to $19 billion in the corresponding quarter of fiscal 2017, as the export growth at 9.1%. Import growth was away faster at 34.6%. The high export growth, particularly in the labor-intensive sector, is vital to sustaining employment-generating growth, said Chrysalis, which India is really lacking of unemployment growing so much faster, and Indian government are still stuck in the demonetization GST economy fall down. So what do you think of India's export competitiveness at the decade low? Will it grow any higher, or will the government of Narendra Modi will soon decline India's economy, nearly go down by down?
Zora Kamalova works tirelessly on her farm at the Tajikistan-Afghanistan border. She's 58 years old and has been farming for almost 30 years now. The wheat she produces helps her feed her family, and during a good harvest, she manages to make some extra money.
وقتی که با شوهر بر اومدیم، بعد با شوهر بر اومدن بو اومدیم با امر تقدیر با همین زمین قد سر کار داریم. از سال 1983 به همین زمین سر کار داریم. پارسال از سبب نبودن بارش شد، غلای ما اونقدر نشد.
What Zora and other farmers in the region are facing is the lingering impact of environmental and water mismanagement, coupled with the poor state of infrastructure in a post-Soviet era. Even with governments trying to address these issues, there's a lot more that needs to be done. Helping improve water, food and energy security by strengthening energy-water linkages across the Central Asian region is the Central Asia Energy Water Development Program, or CARDEP. CARDEP is a multi-donor trust fund started by the World Bank in partnership with DFID, SECO, USAID and the European Commission. CARDEP addresses the challenges of improving the cooperation between countries on the management of water and energy resources in the Aral Sea Basin to promote mutually beneficial opportunities. With glaciers in Central Asia melting rapidly, the water supply of millions could be affected. Agriculture is the mainstay of the region's economy, and downstream countries are largely dependent on the upstream countries of Tajikistan and Kyrgyz Republic for water for irrigation. Uzbekistan relies for 90% of its water supply on upstream countries, and the shortage of water during summer months has led to the acute salinization of soils, leading to crop destruction. Meanwhile, the upstream countries of Tajikistan and Kyrgyz Republic do not have thermal resources. During Soviet times, water and energy were shared between up and downstream countries. This system has now collapsed. During winters, upstream countries generate hydropower to meet energy demands. In doing so, they release more water in winter and cause floods in downstream countries, as well as water shortages in summer. The need for better cooperation over resources has made energy-water linkages inextricable for national security, regional stability, and economic growth in this region. While transnational water sharing issues are crucial for stability in the region, even at the local grassroots level, water management between farmers has been a challenge in the past.
фермерлер ушу тегерек четте кошуналар бар тең полялар бар да. Анан бир алганда баарыбыз бир алабыз. Например, мындай болот да. Беден чабык болот, бүт баарын сугаш керек да. Ошол маалдарда аябай эле действительно кыйын болчу да суу. Бул тегеректе бүт эле туугандары соседтердин баары тең, соседи по полю бүт баарыбыз тууган болобуз да. Ошо тууганчылыкка карабай болбой эле урушубуз да, суунун жетишпегендиги үчүнчү. Буга чейин суу аябай эле тартыш болчу, проблема болчу да. Сугара албай калганда 50%-ке чейин урожай албай калчубуз да.
Over 10 million hectares of agricultural land in Central Asia depend on these canal waters for irrigation, and 50% of the land is affected by salinization and waterlogging as a result of poor irrigation and drainage systems. This severely impacts food security, also disrupting the livelihood of many people. But the setting up of Water Users Associations, or WUAs, which is a local association of farmers' representatives, is slowly improving water management at farm level. Also, improved irrigation methods are resulting in better crop cultivation and good relations between farmers. Old and porous canals are being replaced by new irrigation methods, resulting in more efficient use of water.
Лоток салып беришти. Лоток салгандан кийин былтыр, например, я сказал бы, аябай эле жакшы болуп калды да. Действительно, уруш талаш жок, суу кенен болуп калды. Потеря жок болуп калды да.
Thousands of farmers are benefiting from the 500 WUAs in Kyrgyz Republic alone, while there are many more being formed across Central Asia, helping farmers improve their crops and make profits. Today, countries in Central Asia are getting better equipped to combat the growing threats of climate change and stresses on energy and water security through improved water management systems, efficient heating and power supply, and regional cooperation between the Central Asian countries on energy and water resources. Most importantly, millions of people are being able to improve their livelihoods. Many are gaining economic independence. And there is also enhancement of peace and security in this beautiful and important region of Central Asia.
Post your comments below, and if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up and follow us on social networks and subscribe to our channel. And thanks for watching. This is WEC Daily. Think big, think different. Bye.